After you, Robert. Are you well?
I think so. I'm quite fit at the moment. I've been doing some skiing. Joined the gym here at Imperial. Imperial's got a fantastic gym.
Do you lift the weights?
No. No, I don't do that. But I do cycle in sometimes. So it's about 8.5 miles.
Lord Winston, Professor Winston.
How do you do?
Great to meet you. Now, Robert, there's no room for either of us to mess up. It's 5 minutes. It's 5 minutes exactly.
Right.
And the time starts now. Now, you are a professor, you're a pioneer in infertility treatment, you're a Labour Lord, you're a television presenter. How on earth do you fit it all in?
Badly, basically. I mean, I'm stretched thin and recognise that what I do is very limited.
What are you most proud of all the things you've achieved?
My children, because they will last. I mean, everything else is ephemeral already.
But don't you feel you've made a real difference to a lot of people's lives?
Well, they're children too, because, of course, I've been very fortunate that actually the work I was involved with was fertility, so you do change people's lives, and yes, I do feel very moved by that.
What do you feel is the most controversial area of medicine, of medical science at the moment?
I think death is the most controversial area, euthanasia, and the question of whether you can assist people to die or not. To my mind, that is a very problematic question.
Where do you stand on it, personally?
I'm not sure, you know. I'm worried about really devaluing old people and making them feel threatened when they go into hospital. That really troubles me. I think if you change the culture, which could be easily done, you might do some harm in that respect.
Are you generally optimistic about the world of medical science? Do you think there are big cures around the corner?
I'm generally optimistic about science, but I recognise science has downsides, and medical science, yes. I mean, I think the areas that I'm really interested in, I think stem cell biology is one. I think the use of genetics in a more effective way is another. I think also finding ways of making tailor-made drugs for people. And I think lastly, actually, finding treatments which are cheaper.
What do you think, in your life, has been the most significant development in medicine?
In 5 minutes, that's impossible to say. Perhaps ultrasound.
What's your biggest personal ambition?
To die loving the people around me.
I want to ask you about the human brain, because you in the past did a programme on the human mind. There's so much more to learn, isn't there, about the human brain?
Well, I think there are sort of 10 big questions in science, of which one is human consciousness. How do we think? And I think that is going to be one of the most exciting areas of science for the future.
You're clearly very passionate about science. What about religion? You were brought up in a Jewish family. Are you religious?
Well, I think that this debate between religion and science is rather artificial. I think that both are important, both reflect on some aspect of our personality, both reflect our humanity. Both are needed, and they shouldn't be seen in competition with each other.
Now, you're a good mate of Richard Dawkins.
Yes, I am. I love Richard, actually. I really do. I admire him. He's a fantastic writer. I just think he's wrong about this aspect, and I think the God...
Which aspect in particular?
Well, the God area. I mean, his books on genetics are absolute biblical books. They're terribly important. The God delusion, I think, is a mistake. I don't think it's a well-researched book, and I think actually it falls down because the argument is very polemical.
I'll have to interview Richard Dawkins if I can.
I hope you do.
To get him to put his side of it.
He will disagree. He'll say that actually I don't really believe in God. That's what he'll tell you.
Tell me a little bit about your childhood, because your father died when you were very young. What sort of impact did that have on you?
I think my father is somebody who I miss much more now than I ever did at the time as a child.
How old were you when he died?
9. My father was a polymath. He was a brilliant violinist. He was a competition chess player. He had a whole range of crazes, and I sort of kind of copy him. He was widely spread, quite thinly, I think, and I think somehow I would have really enjoyed to talk to him about some of the things I've done now.
You mentioned that he was a violinist. You're a big musician yourself.
Well, I'm very
saxophone, is that true?
I'm very excited by music. I'm chairman of the Royal College of Music, which is one of my great joys.
Who of the great composers is your number one?
Schubert, I think, perhaps, because Schubert's work is very extraordinary, not least because 2/3 of it wasn't published in his lifetime. It seems amazing.
He died very young, of course, as well.
Yeah.
Tell me about football. Big Arsenal fan.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see...
You're an Arsenal season ticket holder?
Of course. It'll be interesting to see what the latest signing does. I think he's not going to be fit this weekend. I understand that he's still not match fit.
This is Arshavin we're talking about.
Of course. God, we need some new players. I do think that Wenger has really not been prepared to splash out enough, but then he says he doesn't have enough money, but I don't know.
What else do you do in your private time? How do you wind down?
I read. I'm writing a book at the moment. I love...
Is that on evolution?
No, it's not. It's on technology.
You've just written a book on evolution.
I've just written a book on evolution.
For children?
For children, and I'm just writing a book now for adults on technology. And I'm, at the moment, really ensconced in my vintage Bentley car, which I'm sort of, playing around with, which is just a fantastic treat to drive.
Of course, not everyone will know that you won an award at the Edinburgh Festival as a director.
Oh, in the theatre, yes. Pirandello is my interest there, too.
Time is up. Really nice to meet you.
Thank you.